I can go back 5 generations, but I don't have proof of a lot of it. Otherwise, I would say the earliest one here would be my great-great-grandfather. So that would be, he was born in Belgium, but then arrived in the United States. I've tried to go through Ellis Island to find out if he had come through there. I can't get any information on that. I haven't gone far enough. My family came from Belgium, so as far as I know, and then we arrived in Green Bay, and I guess that's where we stayed. Most of them all stayed here. As far as getting to Belgium, I've never been there. I don't have a desire to cross the ocean. It's not a big want of mine, I guess. I've traveled all the United States and I still have a whole lot more to see here, so Belgium doesn't interest me. As far as I know, my dad fought in World War II. My husband, now, he fought in Vietnam. My dad, he was stationed in California, and his father passed away in 1945. And back then, they were dealing with the sole surviving son in a family. And my dad was the only son. He only had two children in his family, and he was the only son. So he was left out of the service because of the law didn't come into effect until 1948, but they let him go because of his dad's death. And my husband made it back out of Vietnam. He was there 13 months. Through the Great Depression, our family, my mother's family, he was a bricklayer and carpenter in De Pere, Wisconsin, and they had 9 children, but I think he was able to pick up work here and there because of his profession. And my dad's family was the same thing. He worked in a print shop, and I think they could pick up little menial jobs here and there to make it to the end. Not that they didn't suffer like other people, but I think it was a little bit easier for them than most because that was a very tough time. At least that's what my mom and dad said. It was a very, very tough time. But a lot of people stood together and they got through it. When we were young, before I was here, but when my parents first got married, it was a little bit tougher back then, so they all lived in a house on Smith Street here in Green Bay on the east side, and it had at least 3 apartments that I know of. Maybe 4, but I think it was 3. And our family, by the time we moved out, there was 3 of us. My parents had 3 children by that time. I was 3 years old, and we had this apartment in the top floor of the house. And I went back for years trying to figure out where that apartment was. Turned out it was in the front upstairs, because I had flashbacks of it. But that house had many, many families in it. And it was all with the relation, but many, many families lived in that home through the years because it was an apartment type home. I came from a family of 6 girls. We had no brothers. And then I married in 1968. And we had 3 children. And my husband was out of Nam then. He was out of the service. And we settled here in Green Bay with our 3 children and blessed with 7 grandchildren. So we're doing okay. The one thing I wish I would have done, and I know there was many people that told me to do it, grandmothers, mothers, but I didn't. People have got to ask about their heritage before the older generation passes away, because once it's gone, and you can't get it back, and I wish I had done that. I waited till my mother passed away, so she was the last one in line. And I wish I had done it sooner, because it's so interesting to find out where you came from, how we got here, and the struggles that people went through. Our family was very fortunate. I can't say there was a lot of struggles, but I know families did back then, and I wish I had been a little bit more curious back when I was younger. I really do.